Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing here on this Monday morning? This is Reganelite here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Good Morning Show with me, Reganelite, here on Monday, the 8th of December 2025 at 11 a.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. If you're new to this live stream, let me just give a quick rundown before I go to people in the chat. So what we normally do here, we run for about an hour. And I give you guys today's daily quota, which we do every day here on the Good Morning Show. We have a look at the weather, we have a kind of a branch look at the world, but mainly UK weather. So that's England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland. And just kind of see what today's weather's like, what's going to be over the next couple of days. And then we have a look at what the media is saying. So, like, for example, what's the Guardian's website saying about some of the news they're saying, or what's the Associated Press is saying over in America, or what the Times is saying. So different websites, and we'll have a look at them and see what stories intrigues us. And I'll give my thoughts, and you can give your thoughts in the chat. So that's essentially what this what we do here, guys, for those who are new to the show. So let me just say, we haven't got anyone in the Twitch chat at the moment, but for those on YouTube, we have Mutty Von Eric. Good morning to you. Person Impersonator, good morning to you guys. Hope you guys are doing well. Mad133, one of our moderators. Good to see you there, Mad Monk. Hope you are doing well. Linda, good morning to you. Graham, good morning to you. Islamrag Eve, good morning all listening on the recommendations. Welcome indeed. I hope you find the today's show interesting. Thank you for giving your time. I appreciate it. I really do. Scott Hayes, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Ellie, good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Viper Scott, thank you so much for the £2 super chat to get things started for Ollie. Yes, it's just we have for Ollie. I've got to do this for Ollie. For those who don't know, Ollie is one of our emojis for memberships there. So that has been recommended for Ollie there. Just a very, very small super chat goal, just to help the channel and help the Democratic Penguins Republic. That's our friend Pingu behind us. Support goes towards the Penguins. Everyone's saying good morning to each other. Just seeing if there's anybody else I haven't mentioned. I think I've mentioned everyone that's available there. Everyone's saying good morning to each other. Good. Okay, let's get started, guys. So here is today's daily quota. And by the way, if you guys want to get your own daily quota, you can see it there. But there's a link in the description as well of this live stream if you guys want to get one for yourself. They're called Little Penny Thoughts. This is not only do they do like daily quotas, they actually do like a daily joke one as well. I know a friend of mine who actually does like every day. Posts a joke of the day, which is pretty good because it's like, humor is a great thing to help when especially when you have a down day as well. So maybe I should get a joke one for the year, guys. That would be a good fun one, wouldn't it? So, and I show these quotes to you so you guys know where I get them from. So today's one for the 8th of December is from John Lobbock, and it says, "A day of worrying is more exhausting than a week of work." A day of worry is more exhausting than a week of work. You know what? That is so true. When we worry so much, when you worry about something so much, it can really hold you back from really doing more work than you normally should. I think that's a very valuable quote there. Very interesting one indeed. Tomorrow's one is a lovely one too, which we will share on tomorrow's live stream. Viper Scott, thank you so much again for another £2 super chat for the DPR, for the Democratic Penguins Republic. This is Pingu. For those who don't know, he is our foreign secretary. He's the foreign secretary of McDonald's Island. They are still suffering from a trade war from Trump's tariffs. So the funding goes towards our Penguins. Thank you so much, Viper Scott. Much appreciated there. And he's also provided a link if you guys want to get one of your own. It's a lot more I think it's a bit more updated now because that one's quite old. I had that one. I've had that one for a few years now. And the idea came from she's no longer she was part of a very special Discord group from a couple of years ago that we got to know her from, and she would post it every day. And I remember asking her one time, I was like, "Where did you get that from?" And she told me where she got it from. And I was like, and then I got one, and then all of a sudden I started doing it. Unfortunately, she doesn't use social media, or she kind of moved away from politics because it was too much for her, which I can understand. But that's kind of where they got the idea from. So yeah, do consider getting one for yourself because it's just tiny little things can make a difference for how you start your day. You know, sometimes how you start your day can make a difference to how you end your day, guys. So let's have a look at the weather, guys, and see what's happening in the world. Let me just zoom out here. Here we are, guys. This is the weather report. So for those who don't know, this is using the BBC weather map just for reference here. So here is our big, beautiful planet here. We can see here at the moment. At the moment, it's cast as today at 6 o'clock here, just for reference here. We can have a look at some different temperatures here. I always look at Yellowknife, guys. I always look at that temperature of -27. I don't know how anyone can live in such an environment, but my God, it must be brutal there. You'll see some parts of the US there. Vancouver 10, San Francisco 9, Ottawa -13, New York very chilly at -1, Miami 29, Mexico City 16 there. Parts of South America there got some nice warm weather at 29, 30 degrees there. Hot. As is parts of Africa there. We can see Central Africa there of 28 degrees in parts there. South Cape Town 21 there for reference there. Moving over here, Oceania, Australia, Sydney 20, Auckland 19. Philippines 26 there, Tokyo a chilly 7, Beijing a -3 there, Colombo 25 there, New Delhi 12 there for temperatures there. We've got a couple of bits of snowstorms here and there around in parts as well. There, Baghdad 17, Cairo 17. Before we do Europe, let's have a look at our friends up in Iceland. What have they got? They got 5 degrees, okay, so it's not too bad. Not too bad in Iceland today. Max and -9 there. And we'll just have a look and see what's the temperatures in Europe. They got quite some snowstorms up there. So this is Europe at the moment. We've got Madrid 9 temperature, Lisbon 16. Looks like most of Europe is dry today from the looks of it. Nice 13, Rome 10, Athens 13, Bern 8, Zagreb 5, Budapest 5, Chistu 3. Some cold parts in Eastern Europe, as you would expect. Kiev 1, Warsaw 7 there, Moscow -1. Berlin, Prague, Vienna, 11, 11, 9. Temperatures have risen there, as they have to the UK, which we'll come to in a moment. Bern, 8 there, so not as cold as it has been the last couple of days there. And we can see Paris and Brussels, 12 and 13 degrees there. If we come to the UK here, we can see London, 12, where I am. Cardiff, 11, Manchester, 10, Dublin and Belfast, 10 and 8 degrees here. We'll just zoom in a little bit. We'll have a look at just a bit more temperatures here. So a couple of variety of temperatures here, but there's some showers here and there around in parts. So I do expect some rain to drop where I am because of where I am. But mostly it looks like mainly it's around the south and south of England here in parts there. There's a big rainstorm just down there on the southeast there. But parts of Wales are going to experience a bit of it. But temperatures pretty much all throughout the UK. It's a lot warmer now. At around 10, 11 degrees. I did say the temperatures would pick back up again, but it may drop again at some point later on this week, which we'll have a quick nose at as well, guys. You can see here, Castleford 10, Hull 10, moving up to the north of England here. Scarborough 9, Morecambe 9 there. To move a bit further up north here into the south of Scotland here. You see the temperatures, mainly understandably so, they drop a little bit lower, but nothing too serious here. Glasgow, Edinburgh 9 there, Dunbar 9, Dunfermline 7, Bridgend 8 there, Oban 9, Dundee 8. Not too bad temperatures. There is some rain and showers around Scotland, but I would say most of the parts of Scotland should be nice and dry. Fort Williams 8, Aberdeen 7 there. We can see there. So, and winds are going to be looks like going to be pretty low for today there as well. So not too bad temperatures. What's they like over in our friends in Northern Ireland? 9, 8 degrees with some showers there and there. Probably mainly cloudy. I would say probably more than anything there. And Dublin, 10 degrees as well. So zoom a little bit further back out. If we move up, going into 9 o'clock in the evening, we can see this rainstorm looks like it's going to be hitting more of Southern Wales and part of England overnight there. We can see going overnight, midnight into Tuesday morning there. If I go to Tuesday early morning there, you can see this rain is going to be literally going to be overshadowing. So you're going to get high winds. You're going to get a storm tonight, guys, over into the next morning. So please be aware of that here. How do we get our names back, says Melody? I don't know. It's nothing. There is not something I can control. It's something on YouTube's part. No idea how to no idea how to fix it, I'm afraid. So it's not something it's not something I can control. I'm afraid they just changed it. They've done this. I think they've done this for pretty much every YouTube channel now, which is very frustrating indeed. Moving into the next morning, again, if you wake up Tuesday morning, again, you'll see that rainstorm literally engulfing the entire UK. Wales, Scotland, England, Northern Ireland are all going to be experiencing it in it. But you can see the temperature's not going to be too bad, but you are going to experience some high winds. You're going to experience lots of showers. So please be aware of this Tuesday morning here. We can see even moving into lunchtime again, mostly looks like most of that storm is going to be hitting mostly northern Scotland there. Most of it will have calmed down by then, but you can there'll still be some high winds. You can see the temperatures there, the gauges there, 15, 17, 19, 26, very, very fast winds on Dublin and Belfast there as we move later on into Tuesday there from 3 o'clock there. But temperatures are going to be nice, a very nice day. So you can see temperatures 11, 10, 13, 11, 14 degrees. Again, very warm weathers for December there. But moving overnight into Tuesday night, into Wednesday morning there, we can see there's still going to be a bit of a rainstorm there, going to be around parts of Scotland there. But most of the rest of the UK is going to be a bit dry. But going overnight into Wednesday morning, you can see here, yeah, it looks like most of that rain is still remaining in the north of Scotland there, much of the further north of Scotland, but the rest of the UK is going to have a dry, mainly dry. There'll be some scatter showers here and there, but mostly it's going to be dry in early Wednesday morning there. But yeah, moving into Wednesday morning there, still some showers here and there around. Looks like there may be some possible forecast of some snow in possible parts of Scotland there from the looks of it. Possibly, but temperatures again, there's no drop in temperatures, so it's not like going to be really, really cold. So you can you'll probably get away with without putting on the heating there, you can see. But as we can go into Wednesday evening, the temperatures are going to drop again. That rain is going to be sticking around Scotland and parts of Ireland, Northern Ireland, unfortunately there. And we'll just quickly finally have a look at overnight for Wednesday and Thursday there. We can see, yeah, this rainstorm is not going away, guys, not going away for our friends up north. And we can see, just looking into Wednesday morning, are we going to get a dip in temperatures at all? Just have a quick look. Okay, so there will be a bit of a dip in temperatures on Friday, a little bit. Okay, interesting. So looks like on the weekend we're going to have a slight drop in temperatures, but we're not going to have the same kind of temperatures. We're not going to have the same kind of temperatures we had last week or 2 weeks ago. So we will get some dips in temperatures, but nothing too serious. So I think this week, guys, we should be able to get away. You probably be able to get away with not putting on the heating, to be fair. I probably would recommend just wrapping up a bit warmer if you're starting to feel a little bit of the chill, to be fair. It's not going to be too bad at all this week. But mainly tonight, it's going to be a rainstorm coming in, high winds, and you're going to be getting that Wednesday morning. So if you're driving or you have to get up early for work and whatnot, do take necessary precautions. Just please be aware of that's going to be coming in overnight tonight into the next day, guys. So that is the weather report for today, guys. Right, let's have a look and see what the news is saying. We're going to start with the Guardian here. Let me just check. Let me just see what you guys are saying here. Everyone's saying hello to each other still. We don't have any techie folks here to advise. Sadly, blinking, flipping YouTube. YouTube changed it. You got your name changed. It's not something like, the problem is there's no way to kind of tell YouTube to do something. It's all automated now. Like, talking to a member of staff of YouTube is near to next impossible now. Like, that's where the direction, unfortunately, a lot of these companies are going, which is very, very annoying indeed. Right, so here is the front of UK politics here. Labour Together reportedly canvassing party members on leadership candidates here. Starmer to face questions over reports that local Labour groups could be asked who could lead the party into the next election. This is those who put Keir Starmer in the position that he did, such as Labour Together. Those ones who are not doing it for the benefit of the public, but doing it for the benefit of Labour. This is about them enforcing their power, and they know that the clock is ticking on Keir Starmer. I don't believe that Keir Starmer is still going to be there by the end of next year. I'll be quite shocked, actually. I mean, it really does depend on how much of the policies that they've been, how much of an impact they'll have on people, and whether or not people will start to feel better off. Because that's the main thing. People are not feeling better off. People are still very frustrated about what's happening. That's the biggest problem there. But I guess the question is who is going to replace Starmer if once he does get the boot, because it is coming. It is coming. Obviously, when he goes, Rachel Reeves will go as well. So this is an interesting story I was having a look at earlier here. So Nigel Farage is urged to come clean over alleged election spending breaches in Clacton here. So Reform campaign has been accused by ex-councillors of falsely reporting expenses during Farage's run to become MP last year. So what does this mean? Basically, there's accusations that they spent more money than they should do. What's the worst thing that could happen? Well, they'll get a fine. That's about it. It's not like this is going to lead to Nigel Farage being removed as the member for Clacton, or it's going to force some kind of by-election, which it should, by the way, if they have breached the rules. Like, I think, yeah, if a politician has breached the rules and they become an MP and they breach the rules, they should automatically face a by-election, automatically, because you were dishonest to the British, you were dishonest to the public in how much you've been spending in your campaign. And therefore, if you want to keep your seat, you will have to run again. I think that's what they should be, but we know that's not going to happen, unfortunately. The chances are, if he's found guilty of this, which he probably is, allegedly, they're probably just going to slap him with a fine, and that's about it. That's the best that's going to come out of this, guys. So the Reform Russia leader, Nigel Farage, has been urged to come clean over his election campaign in Clacton after a former aide claimed his party breached spending rules. So Farage's campaign has been accused of falsely reporting his election expenses during the successful run to become an MP last year. We always knew there were going to be dodgy things in these expenses. So Richard Everard, a former Reform Russia councillor and member of Farage's campaign team, is said to have submitted documents to Scotland Yard showing that the party spent more than £20,660 limit to the Essex constituency. So the news comes as Farage faced increasing pressure to apologise over the racism described to The Guardian by the 28th and his peers at Dulwich College. We probably might touch on more of that tonight and tonight's live stream, guys. The latest to speak publicly is Yinka Bankwal, who claims to claim that a teenager told Farage that's the way back to Africa, and said he had felt compelled to speak out after Reform leaders' attempts at denying or dismissing the hurt of his alleged targets. Farage has told reporters he has never been racist or anti-Semitic with malice, is what he's claimed, which I have a very hard time believing that, and I'm pretty sure you guys have a hard time believing that too. Reform has strongly denied breaking the law on election spending and accused Everard of being disgruntled former councillor who was expelled from the party several months ago. But Labour and the Conservatives said Farage had questions to answer over the allegations. According to the Daily Telegraph, Everard had claimed Reform failed to declare spending on leaflets, banners, utility bills and refurbishment of a bar in its Clacton campaign office. The paper said he had submitted documents to the Metropolitan Police with the allegations. The fact that this has come from the Telegraph is says quite a lot. This is a former Reform councillor who basically got kicked to the curb, and is now getting his payback from the looks of it here. He alleges the party's official returns reports that it came just under £400 under the spending limit set by the electoral law, and the undeclared spending would have been put it above the cap. But he also said he thought Farage himself had been blissfully unaware. The Labour chair, Anna Turski, said that Nigel Farage needs to urgently answer serious questions about whether he broke the law and misled the public when standing for election to Parliament. Our parliamentary democracy relies on people playing by the rules, so all candidates have a fair hearing with the public. Farage must come clean and put all the evidence on the table to prove that he hasn't undermined our democracy by breaking the rules. Failure to do so will raise even more questions about what he has to hide. Again, like I said, he's not going to face a by-election. He's just going to get, the chances are, if he ends up being found guilty, he's just going to end up paying a fine. But Labour and the Conservatives should let this drag, because it slings Reform UK and his name, Farage, through the mud. Conservative Chair Kellen Hollerate called on the police and the Electoral Commission to investigate Everard's claims. We all have an obligation to play by the rules to ensure that our elections are free and fair. Everard, who defected from the Conservatives to Reform last year, has since left the party and now sits as an independent councillor. A Reform spokesperson said these inaccurate claims come from a disgruntled former councillor. The party denies breaking electoral law. We look forward to clearing our name. The Metropolitan Police has been approached for comment. So again, this is we do have to take. I mean, this is someone who was part of Reform and then got kicked to the curb and now sitting as an independent councillor. So if you're gonna make these claims, you better have some evidence to back it up. And I hope he's got some evidence to back it up. And in the end of the day, it's just going to end up getting a fine if at the end of it all, that's really it. It's not like they're going to run a by-election, like I said, guys. I don't care about Prince Harry, and I'm not interested. Prince Harry's UK security under government review. What a waste of taxpayer money. Why is the government wasting money on Prince Harry? And anyway, I thought that Harry was paying out for his own security now. Zelensky meet European leaders in London for talks on ending the Ukraine war. That is today. There, I mean, what more can they say? Like, what's going to be different on these talks than is going to be on the last talks? What's going to be different apart from Europe is still funding, Europe is still buying American weapons and procurement for Ukraine. Ukraine is still losing territory. They've lost some villages the last couple of days as well. Have fallen to the Russian aggression. There is no sign of Putin budging whatsoever on his positions when it comes to a ceasefire, any kind of ceasefire agreement. The demands that Russia are asking are not palpable, and Ukraine has moved its needle many times for Trump and America. But why should Ukraine move any further? Like, in terms of territory, the territory does not belong to them. It belongs to the Ukrainian people. Local authorities in England and Wales warn finances are at breaking point. I mean, how many times have we discussed this? More councils expect to fall into bankruptcy in the near future as they face nervous weights over government funding. Local authorities in England and Wales have warned their finances are at breaking point, with more councils expected to fall into bankruptcy in the future. They face a nervous wait to discover the government's funding this month. Council leaders expect changes to annual funding arrangements will result in steep cuts for many local authorities, preventing many from balancing their books and providing basic services to citizens. This kind of stuff here, this is what's costing them the election. Not the immigration, stuff like this, that basic local authorities are unable to do their jobs because they do not have the funding to be able to do so. And over the 14 years of Tory austerity, councils have been left crippled. Absolutely crippled. And no matter how hard, no matter how good, no matter how well they balance the books, there is always going to be situations where they just don't have the money for things. And ordinary citizens are going to be paying the price. Now, some of those citizens will turn their anger and their frustration towards local councillors in those areas, and that's where they'll be voted out. But some will say, well, at the end of the day, well, some people will actually know that at the end of the day, when it comes to funding from these councils, it all comes from the government, and the government are not providing enough funding. So, hence, where is the magic money tree for them? Amid a crisis in local authority funding, 29 councils have already been unable to meet their financial obligations without special government loans, including Croydon, Thurrock, Essex, and Birmingham. Yeah, we know Birmingham's been in crisis. I believe they're still in the bin strikes are still taking place as well, which is adding more problems for them. Croydon, yeah, has been one that's been in trouble as well. Norfolk County Council's Deputy Leader for Finance, Andrew Jameson, said the number of local authorities unable to meet their statutory obligations was likely to grow when the government publishes a new funding settlement this month. We are often accused of crying wolf, but local authorities are reaching breaking point now, he said. The money is not there. There are bound to be some more councils that cannot meet their obligations. Spokesperson for the Local Government Association, which represents councils across England and Wales, has said cost and demand pressures are unrelenting, particularly in key demand-led services such as children's social care, adult social care, homelessness, and home-to-school transport for children with special education needs SEND. They added that councils need a significant increase in overall funding to stem the emerging risk of system-wide financial failure to ensure that councils can meet demands for the vital service needed by their communities. This is where the government needs to step in. They need to step in, and the councils need that. It's very, very Because the problem is that it gets to a point where they'll sell off assets, the councils, to private entities, and once you sell them off, you ain't getting them back. Politicians' ideas of paying a fine, have a system do it, then claim it back as expenses. Probably. Zombie electricity project in Britain faces axe to ease quicker connections. Backlog domain shovel-ready ventures will be cleared with the aim of building virtually zero carbon power systems by 2030. I'm still skeptical about us being zero carbon power system by 2030. Simply on the basis that we're not going to have a Labour government at the next general election. We're either going to have a coalition of some sorts, or we're going to a coalition on the left, or we're going to have a coalition of Reform and the Conservatives on the right. We're not going to have a Labour government in the next general election. That I'm pretty confident at the moment. Britain's energy system operators pulling the plug on hundreds of electricity generation projects to clear a huge backlog that is stopping shovel-ready schemes from connecting to the power grid. Developers will be told today whether their plans will be dismissed by the National Energy System Operator, or whether they will be prioritised to connect by the end of the decade or 2035. More than half of the energy projects in the queue will be removed to make way for the £40 billion worth of scheme considered to be most likely to help meet the government's goal to build a virtually zero carbon power system by 2030. The milestone marks the end of a 2-year process to clear the gridlock of lagged zombie projects awaiting connections that meant many workable proposals were facing a 15-year wait to plug into Britain's transmission lines. Ed Miliband saying, inherited broken system, ... Yep. Now, to fix this, we've earmarked on ambitions once in a generation reforms to clean up the queue and prioritise the projects that are ready to help us deliver clean power by 2030. I'm still sceptical about whether we're going to reach that. Also, I want something done about lost my train of thought. Alex on Twitter says, do you think Nigel Farage is a racist? He certainly comes across like it. That's the problem. I don't think he cares about people. I think he cares about himself. The same question I put to people about him is that, what has he done for the people of Clacton since he became MP? And I've always asked that, and no one's ever provided me with an example, not even on Twitter. That says a lot. When they can't even provide a single thing that he has done to improve the lives of the people of Clacton. That says a lot about him as a person. Never mind him as a politician. I'm not going to cover... all I'll say is this is very concerning indeed. I've got this as a short video dropping tomorrow as well. Rules on single-sex basis pose a risk to trans people's mental health, UK charity has said. 15 organisations signed a letter expressing deep concern over the EHRC's guidance being considered by ministers. There's another story we'll see as well, that trans women have been banned from the... will be banned from the Women's Only Labour Park conference next year, which is very disheartening indeed. It's really is demoralising to read into this. They're being castrated just because of the fact that they are trans and non-binary is very heartbreaking to say the least, guys. Let's just have a quick look before we touch on other news. Just have a quick look at any other stories here. Anglo-American drops plan to pay bosses millions in bonuses after £15 billion tech merger backlash. There. Any other stories there? Rights groups warned against UK's plans to weaken torture protections in the EHRC. That's very concerning indeed. Your party let me down with membership chaos. This is a member. A reader found there seems no way to cancel a subscription for Jeremy Corbyn's Sultana's new party. There's no way to cancel a subscription. I subscribe to your party. It's a shambolic start, and now I'm finding it impossible to cancel my membership. No one replies to my emails, and my local party branch told me that it can't help. Portal requires me to open a new account and commit to another payment in order to cancel anything. What? Wow. I tried to block the payment from my Amex card, but they managed to sneak a £5 payment again this month. My attempts to reclaim the money from my card issue was rejected. I'm so frustrated that they are helping themselves to my account when they've been messing the people about so much. My husband and I are of Asian heritage, And I both noticed more outright racism this year. Your party seems to like a beacon of hope for us, but it's become a toxic joke overnight. It is a... Oh, wow. Names and addresses with how, so it's... That's outrageous. Like, they can't even cancel your payment. That's really outrageous. That's shambolic. That's really bad. Really, really bad indeed. Alright, guys, let's have a look and see what's happening in America or the Associated Press and see what they are saying there. Just a quick reminder, guys, if you want to financially support me in the work that I do here, you can help me reach today's super chat goal. We've just got 3 more super chats to reach for it if you guys want to contribute there. And also do consider becoming a YouTube member where you get early access to additional content. Short videos are already available for the next 2 days for YouTube, top tier YouTube members already, so you guys can check them out as well. And also I'll be live at 8 o'clock tonight for another Viewpoint show where we'll be covering specifically UK news stories, and we'll be diving a bit more deeper into them there, guys. So do join me tonight at 8 o'clock if you can. It'd be greatly appreciated. So a year after Bashar Assad fled, this is from the Associated Press, Syria struggles to heal. It's certainly, look, Syria is in a lot better place than it was. It's in a lot better place than it was a year ago. Does it still have problems? Are there still concerns? Absolutely. I'm still skeptical, of course, but I generally mean this. I hope the Syrian people are their lives are a lot better off now after what they've been through. Billy Kershaw, good morning to you. Hope you are doing well. No problem, fellow Badger, no problem at all. Hamas is ready to discuss freezing or storing its weapons, senior official has said there, in terms of other coverage there. Netanyahu says Israel and Hamas will enter ceasefire second phase soon. I don't trust that at all. But that's what he has said. I would say just take it with a pinch of salt. I probably will cover this as a Rumble video, so I'll probably cover this on Rumble. He says on Sunday that Israel and Hamas are very shortly expected to move into the second phase of the ceasefire. Don't take anything this man says seriously. I wouldn't take anything this man says seriously whatsoever. Tensions flare on the Israel-Lebanese border. War-torn communities are struggling to rebuild. Yep. It's been more than a year since the ceasefire was held between Lebanon and Israel, and there's still conflicts taking place there, guys. Still. Redistricting in Indiana faces ultimate test in the state Senate. So there's been So for those who don't know what's happening in America, there's been a lot of what they call redistricting the electoral maps in states, particularly the red states have been doing this. And the idea is that for them, the idea is that they're redistricting in order to gain more seats in the House, so that when it comes to the midterms next year, the idea is that the Republicans will hold on to the House, because at the moment, as things stand, the Democrats look poised to win back the House, which will give them some power, because as of right now, the Republicans hold the White House, they hold the Senate, and they hold a slight majority in the House. So the idea is, for those who don't know, the idea of redistricting is to give them more members of seats in the houses. So red states like Texas and others, they're redistricting their places to garner more seats, basically. But as a way of cheating their way to hold on to power. So that's kind of what it's about there, for those who don't know. Vibe Scott, thank you so much again for another £2 super chat. One less to hit the goal. Yep, we're just 2 super chats away now from reaching the goal. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate your support. Zoran Mondavi tells New Yorkers about their rights not to comply with ICE. I'm going to cover that, and I'm actually going to cover the video itself on Patreon. Whether I'll do it today or tomorrow or when the video will come out, I'm not sure. But I'm going to cover that on Patreon if you guys want to check that out at some point. I'm going to do a video specifically for Patreon for that. So for those who don't know, on Patreon, I do American news stories Monday to Friday, and that's probably going to be one I'm going to cover there. Democratic governor says the party's midterm strategy must focus over voters' pocketbook concerns. Yep, cost of living, that's the best way to respond to it. I do like this story here, which is quite this story here. Donald Trump slams pardoned Democratic congressman as disloyal for not switching parties. So this is the crux of the story, guys. So Donald Trump is angry that that Representative Henry Cullender is running again as a Democrat rather than switch parties after the president pardoned the Texas congressman and his wife in a federal bribery and conspiracy case. Trump blasted Celia for such a lack of loyalty, suggesting the Republican president might have expected the clemency to bolster his GOP narrow House majority heading into the 2026 midterm elections. So in a television interview on Sunday after Trump's social media post, it said he was a conservative Democrat willing to work with the administration to see where we can find common ground. The congressman said he had praised for the president and the presidency at church that morning because if the president succeeds, the country succeeds. Citing a fellow Texas politician, the late President Lyndon Johnson, Celia said he was an American, Texan, and Democrat in that order. And I think anybody puts party before their country in doing a disservice to their country, he told Fox News Channel Sunday Morning Futures. To be fair, Democrats don't have a lot of Texas Democrats don't have a lot of sway. It's always been a strong Republican area there. But Donald Trump lashing out as somebody who could potentially be somebody to work with, yeah, just throwing a tantrum there. Although I don't like the fact, obviously, he pardoned someone on those charges as well. Netflix deal to buy Warner Brothers could be a problem because of the size of the share market, Trump says. I'm going to say this here. I don't want this deal to go through. Netflix is so big of a market. Warner Brothers, like, I don't like that. I don't like this is happening. I hope the Trump administration turns this down. I think it gives Netflix way too much power. I know some people see it as, oh, it's giving it, it's good business and whatnot. No, people are going to be making billions of pounds out of this deal, and it's just like, again, Netflix controlling more share of the market rather than more. It's just not ideal for the markets, in my view. I don't like this deal. I actually hope it falls through, or well, they've agreed a deal, but what I'm hoping is the Trump administration rejects it. But what they'll probably do is they'll like make concessions to the Trump administration, which they'll take in at the end of it all. So, no honor among thieves, says person impersonator. Obviously, he tries to buy the guy. Yeah, of course, maybe. That's the truth there. Yeah, they're always trying to buy people, isn't he? The first giant panda cub born in Indonesia squeals and squirms in a park video. This is definitely news we need to look at, guys. This is very, very important. The first panda cub born in Indonesia. The first panda cub born in Indonesia is noisy, nursing well, and is showing signs of good health. The Conservation Park where he was born said Sunday. Indonesia's safari park released videos and photos of the fuzzy newborn in an incubator and squirmed and squealed while being cuddled by its mother. The 15-year-old Hyung Chung gave birth to Sanaringo Wamilia, nicknamed Rio, on November the 22nd in the park in Sisia, West Java province. The name symbolizes the hope, resilience, and shared commitment of Indonesia, and China in protecting endangered species, the park said in a statement. Can we play the video? No, hold on a second. They've got a dumb ad there. Let me just see that. Do you have a Netflix subscription? No, of course not. Don't have time for it. That's my thing. I don't have time for a Netflix restriction. John asks on Twitch there. Let's have a listen, guys. Well, it doesn't appear to be sound. Oh, there's no sound. I thought I was expecting sound. It's just photos instead. Well, it's still nice to see. Oh, there we go. There is movement. Mother tending to it. Ah, very cute. Ah, we got to see. Well, I didn't get sound. The inputs. It's a shame the Associated Press didn't have sound with their video, but we still got to see it there. So that's pretty nice to see indeed. Panda, of course. What else we got here? Any other stories here? Man wounded in second stabbing attack in North Carolina commuter train since August. That's terrible. My condolences. Sheriff hunting for the last 3 inmates who escaped from a Louisiana jail. Second flight of Iranian deportees carrying 55 has left the US, Iran has said. Want to know about changes to Disney Parks disability policy? Why? I hope it's not too difficult for people. UN Aid Coordination Agency cuts appeal for 2026 to $33 billion after lowest annual support in a decade. This is so terrible. $33 billion. The UN Humanitarian Aid Coordination Office is downsizing its appeal for annual funding in 2026 after support this year, mostly from Western governments, plunged to its lowest level in a decade. The United Nations Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs said today it was seeking $33 billion to help some 135 million people cope with the fallout from wars, climate disasters, earthquakes, epidemics, and food shortages. This year, it took in $15 billion, the lowest level in a decade. The office says next year it wants more than $4.1 billion to reach 3 million people in Palestinian areas and another $2.9 billion for Sudan, home to the world's largest displacement crisis, and $2.8 billion for a regional plan around Syria. In 2025, hunger surged, food budgets were slashed, and even as families hit parts of Sudan and Gaza, health systems broke apart, said OCHH Tom Fletcher. Disease outbreak spikes, millions went without essential food, healthcare and protections. Programs to protect women and girls were slashed, and hundreds of aid organizations have been shut. This is what happens when you cut foreign aid. This is what happens. Like, people are thinking like that cutting foreign aid will be beneficial in terms of, yes, that money we need to obviously take care of ourselves. You know, it's the premise here, guys. This is this ideology that's been driven into people's minds, is that we need to take care of ourselves before we take care of others. But what people also don't understand is that you cannot be somebody who, if you have a problem with migration, if you have a problem with global migration and you want to see it reduced, then you can't be in favor of reduced foreign aid, because foreign aid helps reduce global migration. Because what it does is it helps people in countries like some of these poorer countries, helps them, provide them with the food, sanitation, and things that they need to be able to have a decent life of some sorts in those countries. And when they don't have the resources, they're gonna migrate. And if they can't migrate into an area where they're normally from, they're going to come to where? They're going to come to Europe, or they're going to come to America, because that's where all the promise is for them. So global migration is going to increase even more as a result of this. It's going to increase as a direct result. So when the next numbers come out of, like, I would not be surprised within the next year or two we see, this year in particular, when we look back on the numbers and reports, you will find that probably there'll be a much sharper increase in global migration, simply because of the reduction of foreign aid. This year in particular, you will see a bigger increase in not foreign aid, in global migration. My apologies, of global migration as a whole. You will see more people trying to get into Europe, more people trying to get into America and other parts of the world. You're going to see that. Sad but not really surprised, everyone cutting down aid so they can invest in defense. Yeah, and defense is not going to, investing in defense is not going to stop people getting on the dinghy as well. Yeah, true. Yeah, it's true. Let's have a look at the BBC and see what they're saying there. Just a quick reminder, guys, we finish at 12 o'clock for reference. It's pretty tight in comparison. Oh, you're talking about something else. It's pretty tiny compared to Mum. Yeah, well, they. Oh, you're talking about the panda. Yeah, it's they're very, very tiny, isn't it? So, what's the BBC saying? UK politics: young people to lose benefits if they turn down works as minister. Should I say something now, or should I cover it in the video? I'm going to respond to this tonight. I'm not going to respond to this tonight because I don't want to lose my rag right now. 50,000 new apprenticeships promised to tackle youth unemployment here. Funding will be used to help employ young people in sectors including AI, hospitality, and engineering. This is good. This is good. We want to help get young people into work. Apprenticeships to help them get going. Anything that helps them do that is a good thing. So I'm happy with this. Hopefully, what I don't want is people being forced. That's the real main thing. Minister admits sharp rise needed to hit the 1.5 million housing target. I've said this before, and I've said this again for those who don't know. We are not going to hit this target. And as I said last week in a couple of live streams as well, we don't have the workers, we don't have the builders, we don't have the resources as well to do them, and the costs are just going to be exponentially. And because the government is not putting this a lot of the government is relying a lot on private sector to build these homes, and the problem is a lot of these private homes are not going to be the kind of homes that people need. It's all well and good building homes, but if people can't live in them, if people can't afford to live in them, they're basically just a shell. It's no good. So what we need is social and council houses in particular. And not only that, by building cheaper, affordable homes, which I don't expect this government to be doing enough of, what it will do is help reduce homelessness, and it will also help with the councils when it comes to their situation, as many councils that have been facing when it comes to rehoming people as well. We need that. We need that to be tackled. Rayner will return to cabinet, says Starmer. COVID-4 in era costs taxpayers 10.9 billion. Report will say. We should send that bill straight directly to the Conservative Party. Just send the bill to the Conservative Party and tell them they need to pay for it. And if they can't afford to pay for it, well, then take all their funding. Take what funding you can from them. Because they're the reason that we're missing this money. This money should come straight from the Conservative coffers. I don't think anything more needs to be said there. Charities welcome the new law banning puppy smuggling. What took so long, though? A law to tackle the smuggling of puppies and kittens into Britain has passed Parliament this week after 2 previous attempts failed. Animal welfare charity, so it's a game changer, but there could be some unintended consequences, ? In September 2025, 2 tiny Yorkshire Terriers were seized at the port of Dover. Just 7 weeks old, they had spent 26 hours in a box on the back seat of a car travelling from Slovakia with little access to food or water. They were named Pip and Squeaky by the Dog Trust, which took them in. They were quite shut down and little wary of everything, said Katie Bryan, the charity's rehoming coordinator. It was clear that they were taken from their mum too early and had left them not really knowing how to be dogs, or how to interact with humans or the world in general. That's really cruel. Politicians have been promised to crack down on illegal puppies trade since leaving the EU, making it possible to unilaterally change import rules. In 2023 alone, 116 puppies and kittens were seized at the port of Dover and quarantined for being below the legal age limit of 15 weeks. And that's only what they seized. That's only what they seized. So that number is going to be even higher, guys. Many are brought in with false documents or with microchips given fake details hidden in their collars. Others are falsely passed off as pets. Identifying smuggled animals come through Dover is the responsibility of Matt Henning's team and the Animal and Plant Health Agency. He said some animals arrive in horrendous situations after being loaded into vans or cars loose or homemade cages. We've had them up against raw meat, up against motorbike wheels. We've had them under driver's seats and they've been seen caught in the frame of that. He said it can be upsetting for his team, who also face challenging behaviour from the people bringing the animals in. Some animals have been left so unwell that they had to be put down. Matt remembers one dog from Romania who arrived barely responsive after smugglers had tried several different ways of bringing it into the UK. It had a nappy on to absorb urine and feces. One of its legs was bandaged up, so when it got to the veterinary treatment table, it was a raw stump. The vet said it was suffering beyond imagination. Illegally imported dogs may also not have been tested for disease like rabies or brutal canis, which can put animals in the UK and their owners at risk. The new law will raise the age limit for importing puppies and kittens into Britain into 6 months. The Animal and Plant Health Agency said it will make it easier to identify underage animals and will put a blocker on the trade because older puppies are simply less cute. Some support the principle of the new age limit but warn it could have unintended consequences. Absolutely terrible situation. Scottish Conservative peer defects to Reform UK. I say good luck is all I can say. You know, joining Reform Russia. I mean, Dave McGuinness spoke on this. As, I don't really have anything to add on it. Like, is it really going to make a difference to people of Scotland? I'm very skeptical of it, if I'm personally honest. Let's have a quick look here at the front of UK. Storm Bram named with severe weather warning for damaging winds and heavy rain. So Storm Bram is what's coming tonight and overnight for the next day, guys. So it's called Storm Bram. Could come up with some more fascinating names. Britain's Norris wins first F1 title in Abu Dhabi. Oh, it's nice to see another British. It's nice to see that. Nice to see that. Any other stories here? Watch judge sentenced Joey Barton for online post about violent alcohol. Yeah, nasty person, Joey Barton. Absolutely nasty individual. Schools to stay shut until after Christmas due to roof concerns in Northern Ireland there. DJ Tim Westwood pleads not guilty to rape and assault there. I'm a Celebrity win a crown, which nobody cares. Football, which I'm not a football fan personally myself, but is there as well. Let's have a look at see what Al Jazeera is reporting today, guys. We will rebuild Syria. The country marks 1 year since the fall of al-Assad there. That's the main story there. Syria after Assad. How many Syrians have returned home since the year? 1 year since the fall of al-Assad. That's generally curious. I'm curious to see how many people have returned, actually. Nearly 1.8 million displaced Syrian refugees have returned home. 780,000 have returned home. That's quite a lot. That's quite a big number. That's a good. See, this right here, right? This is right here is a prime example of if you want people to return to their country, if you want people not to stay where they are and return to their countries, you know, if like, okay, Syria's not the best example because it still has its complications. I accept that. But if we help these countries get on their feet, it will encourage more people to go home. Don't force them to go home. Encourage them to go home because there's no longer trouble. That's the story I'm covering in a short video. Thai soldier, 4 Cambodian civilians killed as border tensions reignite. Yeah, so the conflict which Donald Trump claimed to have ended between Thailand and Cambodia has fallen flat on its face there because there were border clashes last night, and as we can see there, civilians have been killed as a result of it, guys. UN faces brutal choices as it launches 2026 aid appeal. Yep, touched on that already. Sudan group accuses the RSF of raping 19 women who fled al-Fashir. That's the rapid support forces in the civil war that's been taking place between Sudan armed forces and the RSF. In short, the RSF have done some horrific crimes, but let's be clear that the SAF aren't exactly squeaky clean themselves. I don't know if or when that war is ever going to end at the moment. It doesn't look like it's going to be ending anytime soon. Been keeping an eye on it since 2023, sadly. Russia welcomes US revised US security strategy, apparently. US lawmakers urge release of video of double tap boat strike in the Caribbean. Yeah, this week I believe they're going to be held behind closed doors. There are going to be discussions about that. I believe it's this week. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat about that. So the Supreme Court and Congress are going to be giving details about the strikes themselves in the Caribbean and get more information about that. How much of that's going to be disclosed to the public, I'm not sure, though. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Vosh's YouTube channel. Vosh tends to have some good stuff on that. He's a left-wing YouTuber from America on that. Japan summons China's envoy over fighter jet radar lockers. Tensions surge. Yeah, tensions. Yeah, it's kind of ever since the new Japanese Prime Minister. It's kind of like yeah, it's really, seems like the relationship has really changed between the two nations. Fueling countries' trade accusations amid escalating dispute following Japan's PM's comments about Taiwan. Yeah, so basically what's really kicked this off is basically Japan has basically said, you won't touch Taiwan. If you touch Taiwan, we may have to go to war. And China's basically furious about this, obviously. Yeah, since then, it's really Yeah, tension. It's gotten quite tentuous between the two nations there. Nigeria says it deploys jets and troops to Berlin to dislodge coup plotters. So apparently it's an attempted coup in Nigeria happening. Troops to help quell a coup attempt by malicious soldiers here. Nigeria's president has confirmed deploying fighter jets and ground troops to neighbouring Ben to help foil a coup attempt by a group of Bendelese soldiers. In a statement on Sunday, Tinubu's office said Nigeria's military intervened in Ben after President Paris Talon's government issued 2 requests for help, including for immediate Nigerian air support. Tinubu's first ordered Nigerian fighter jets to enter Bain and take over the airspace to help dislodge the coup plotters from the national TV and the military camp where they have regrouped. The statement said Nigeria's military sent in ground troops later after Ben's government asked for their support in the protection of constitutional institutions and the containment of armed groups, it said. Tinubu praised his troops and said it had helped stabilise a neighbouring country. Nigerian statement came shortly after Talon, the president of Ben, appeared on national television and said his security forces had temporarily blocked the attempt to overthrow his government. Talon said forces loyal to him stood firm, recaptured our positions and cleared the last pocket of resistance held by militias. Interesting. There's always coup attempts taking place all the time in Africa. I don't know enough about Ben to comment on whether it's in the best interest of the people or not. That's what I can say on that. Got about 5 minutes left, guys. Can we get to this? Can we get to the super chat goal, guys? Got about 5 minutes left. Once we reach 12 o'clock, I'm just going to give you guys a quick rundown of the plan for the week as well, because we have a very exciting roundtable chat coming up this Thursday, guys. If you don't know, I will let you guys know at the end of the show. I'm very excited to remind you guys of that as well. No worries, Billy. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. This is from the Times here. Staff to be encouraged to join unions under new employment bill. Good. This is very good. You want people to join unions. It's very important that we encourage people to join unions because working together gives them better powers and better rights. It's beneficial for people to join unions when they can. We kept manifesto promises, Starmer says after tax rises. Bollocks is my answer to that. Penny Morgan with an interview being stalked has very serious impacts. Yeah, Penny Morgan had a stalker, which is very, very scary for her, regardless of how you feel about her as a politician. Now, it's very scary for any woman to go through that. Yeah, no one should have to go through that at all. Trump disappointed with Zelensky for not reading the peace plan because the peace plan was crap. The peace plan was crap, Donny. And these are all old stories because these are the same stories that were there on Friday, so they haven't even updated it. The Times are bloody useless. Front of UK Times here. Royal Navy head insists we will stay a step ahead of Russia. Okay, sure. Okay, okay, sure. Parents must do more to stop children being radicalized online. Yes and no. I do think, yeah, there is that. That is an issue that needs to be tackled there. Don't grant residency to migrants who would be a financial drain, urges MP. Well, what do you do then? Let them starve and die then? What else do you do? You can't let them starve and die. Like, you got a solution. You need to have a solution. National History Museum to reopen 2 galleries closed for decades. Finally! Oh, gives me and my partner a reason to go to the National History Museum now. London running out of office space. Are you joking? You can build taller. That's a nonsense story there. Nikki Campbell accuses ex-teacher of abusing at least 1,000 boys there. That's a story from Scotland. Councillors to be paid golden goodbyes, costing taxpayer £10 million. That's what they're claiming there. Rapists and paedophiles reconvicted at record rates. That's what the Times is claiming in Scotland. I'm not going to comment on it. I will let Dave McGuinness, if he's still there, if he's there in the chat, to respond to those. I don't think he's there, but I would say take them with a bit of a pinch of salt. Viper Scott, thank you so much for the £2 super chats, and we got the confetti. Yes, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much for helping me get to today's super chat goal. Much appreciated. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Got about a minute left. Let's have a quick look at African news here. See what's happening here. Yeah, Ben's president. Talon thanks army leaders for remaining loyal in the face of attempted coup. South Africa withdraws 90-day visa exemption for Palestinians over fears of link to forced migration. Interesting. Okay. Uganda's opposition leader Bobby Wine said he was beaten by security forces. That's really nasty. Authorities in Nigeria secured the release of 100 kidnapped students. After more than 2 weeks in captivity, 100 students kidnapped from their school in Nigeria have been released. Hey, thank God! Thank God they're starting to catch some of them guys. We've been looking at this story for a while now. This is very good. This is good news. Obviously, there's still more needs to be found, but this is great news that they've been found. On November the 21st, more than 300 people, most of them students, were abducted from St. Mary's School. 50 students again escaped almost immediately, but others have been held until now. According to local media, authorities secured the release of the students who were brought into Nigeria's capital, Abuja. They are due to be returned to Niger State later today. It's unclear whether their release was achieved by force or through negotiations. The fate of the students still being held for now is unknown. Yeah, there's still groups still being held there. Nigeria is battling dozens of armed groups operating in remote communities where the government and security forces have limited reach. The crisis has grown more complex as groups in other parts of the Sanji region have joined Boko's Hakoran faction, seeking to expand their presence in northern Nigeria. Just days before the Paris attack, 25 girls were kidnapped in neighbouring state. Analysis says armed gangs often target schools to pressure the government into negotiating ransoms. No group has yet to claim responsibility for either attack. I'm very happy to hear that. I know there's still some accounted for here, but this is good news. This is good, positive news. We needed this. You know, I mean this sincerely. I'm so glad that they've been found. And it's only been a couple of weeks. Obviously, I would have liked them caught sooner, but that is we need to hear news like that, guys. It's really it just gives us hope, you know. Because when they were abducted, it was really heartbreaking to read that story, guys. But I'm glad that they found 100 of them, and I hope that they find the rest of them. I really do. It's good progress, guys. It's good progress. Before we head out, Scott Hayes, thank you so much for the £10 super chat. It's very kind of you. Hope Reform doesn't win the next general election because he will take his slippers and put on his jackboots and there'll be no free speech or NHS. God help us. Thank you so much, first of all, for the £10 super chat. It's very generous of you. Secondly, you're absolutely right. We will lose our national healthcare service and we will go to an American insurance system if Nigel Farage and Reform Russia takes power. This is a message that really needs to be hampered home to people who are thinking about voting Reform, and they need to be told that, are you happy to be paying for your cancer treatment out of your own pocket? Like, because that's the reality that we are going to have. We're not going to have an NHS if Reform take over. We will not. I mean, it's already been eroded by Wes Streeting because we know he's being paid by American lobbyists as well, which is also really detrimental. But I don't think we're going to have... I'm not sure. I'm not convinced right now that we're going to have a fully fledged Reform Russia government, just because I do think that there are stories that are hampering Nigel Farage right now, as of right now. And polls can change between now and the general election. And we've got local elections that happen next week as well. So I think it'll be interesting to see what happens with them there. Thank you again for that £10 super chat. I really appreciate it. Right, guys, I am wrapping up here. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone who came along today. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you, Scott Hayes and Viper Scott, for your super chats, supporting me, supporting this channel, supporting the Penguins Republic as well. Greatly appreciated. I'll be back live tonight at 8 o'clock for another live stream. This Thursday, myself, Witchy Goth, and Random Scottish History for a roundtable. Will be the last roundtable of the year. Do join us for that. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be very interesting to talk about all sorts of things there. So that'll be this Thursday at 8 o'clock there. I don't know if I'm going to cover Prime Minister's questions this Wednesday or not. It depends. This week will also be the last week where I record videos for Rumble and Patreon. I will not be recording them next week. I probably won't be recording videos for them again until the new year after this week. Again, it's just I won't have time, unfortunately. Yeah, I just won't have time for it. So on that as well. But I'm already looking to set up a round table for next week. I've also hoping to get Van Man Talks back on the channel as well, to have a chat with him at some point as well. At some point in the future as well. That's something I've been looking to do as well, guys. So thank you guys again. But on your way out, if you can, please hit that like button. Share this across social media. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We are roughly around about 10 subscribers away from the subscriber count I wanted to reach by the end of this year, which was 2,500. And we are roughly about 10 subscribers away. So if you can help me get over that line, it will be greatly appreciated. Like I said, do check out Rumble and Patreon this week, because I will be dropping content dropping over the course of the weekdays ahead as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.